Now from Fox, I want to get back to this breaking story that we have been following here. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan chased in their car by photographers after a charity event in New York. The prince's spokesperson says the chase, quote, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and two NYPD officers, calling the incident, quote, near catastrophic. You'll remember, of course, that Harry's mother, Princess Diana, was killed in a crash back in 1997 while being chased by paparazzi. Josh Rahm, royal journalist and commentator, joining us now live to talk more about all of this. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
My absolute pleasure. I mean, this is huge, momentous news.
It is. So what were your thoughts when you did hear that this had happened and that chase apparently went on for several hours?
Well, my first thought was was for the welfare of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And so when I heard they were okay, utter relief at that. Of course, no one wishes harm. We may or may not criticize them for their actions, but you know, it is a relief to hear that they were fine. Hopefully they are okay and not too shocked or traumatized from the incident. Of course, Prince Harry must be thinking about his late mother, who was of course sadly killed, as you said, in 1997 at the Alma Tunnel in Paris. Of course, she was that was in a car chase with a paparazzi. But actually, my first thought was I was skeptical about some of the details. So, you know, if we look back at 1997, now this is not to legitimize car chases in any way, shape or form. They should absolutely not be happening. No safety should be risked at all. But at that time in 1997, Diana was embarking on a new relationship with Dodi Al-Fayed. She was away. They were pictured together previously with long lenses on a yacht. She was trying to keep a low profile in Paris. You could understand the need for foreign media, especially Diana was a global figure, their want to get pictures from the car chase. Again, not legitimizing it in any way, shape or form. It should not be happening, but you can understand the purpose behind it. But saying that, this was a very public event that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex attended. They were pictured both coming in and also departing the event alongside Meghan's mother, Gloria Ragland. You know, Meghan and Harry, they posed for photographs on the red carpet at this event. Meghan won an award, an Inspirational Woman Award at this event. She made a speech. You know, this was by all means and purposes, and all intents and purposes, this was a very public event, which the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were very much publicly pictured at. So one almost questions what was the actual purpose of this car chase, because they were pictured publicly. They very much presented themselves to the world, and especially a car chase that lasted a full 2 hours long. This is not just a quick car chase down the road. This is a car chase lasting a long, sustained period of time. Bearing in mind, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were reportedly escorted by an NYPD vehicle as well. Yes, it's very much said that they were staying with a friend's home at the Upper East Side, and they did not want to compromise the security of this house. But saying that, a 2-hour car chase, you know, one source, Di Davies, he's the former head of Royal Protection, actually just moments ago spoke to a UK news outlet and said that he believes the car chase to almost be false because of the length of time that it was. So, you know, for somebody like that to speak for to a UK outlet saying that, and also kind of questioning the length of time of this car chase, I think that speaks volumes.
And one thing I did want to ask you here, you know how people take to social media to share their thoughts. They like to comment on stories. You've had, I would say, about half the comments I've seen, give or take a few, have been about people saying this is a non-story. There was no crash. It was just a chase. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not sure if it's exactly a non-story, because of course this does hark back to Prince Harry's dear mama, the late Princess of Wales, Princess Diana, who was killed via a paparazzi car chase. And I think, I think this was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex wanting to make a clear statement about the kind of intrusivity almost of the paparazzi, and almost wanting to make a point. And of course, they know full well that comparisons will be made to that very tragic incident in Paris back in 1997. So I think this is very much the Duke and Duchess of Sussex wanting to make a point about that and saying, how they were almost killed, but also at the same time, in his biography Spare and in their Netflix docu-series, I think it's very much Prince Harry wanted to state that he had a problem with the way the royal rota worked, and he very much has a problem with the British media in particular. Of course, he's got no less than 6 cases, I believe, currently going on in the court. Of course, some of them are related to royal protection, and some are related to Metropolitan Police protection when he comes to the UK. Not all of them are related to the British media. But I think it's important to state here that, these weren't British photographers. This wasn't British media chasing the Duke and Duchess of Sussex through the streets of the UK. They say they wanted to go and embark on this new life in the US for privacy. Originally, they went to Canada, and then they relocated again to California, first staying at Tyler Perry's mansion before settling at their own in Montecito. But, I think it's important to state here that this was not the British media that Prince Harry has a real problem with, and has a real he's going after the British media at the moment in court. But this isn't the British media at play here. So one almost has to also say, yes, this is a very bad incident. Yes, of course, they want to make a statement again about the media. However, when Prince Harry is going on and on and on a brigade against the British media for their alleged intrusive action, this was not the British media at play here.
And have we heard it all from the royal family? Do we expect to hear from them on this? Obviously, at this point, this is all developing. This is just coming out here. But have we received any word from the royal family? Do we expect that we will?
Well, what we do know is that it's very much keep calm and carry on. His Majesty the King did release a statement today saying that he has met Hamza Youssef, the First Minister of Scotland and the leader of the Scottish National Party in Scotland today. And then Buckingham Palace have also said that they are not going to comment on this incident either. So it's very much keep calm and carry on from the royal side. Maybe I would expect that members of the royal family may or may not reach out to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on a private basis, but I doubt, especially as those are private conversations, and very much there is this kind of point about privacy. I doubt that Buckingham Palace, if members of the royal family do reach out to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and even Doria Ragland, I doubt that Buckingham Palace will be commenting publicly on that.
And I'm going to ask you what is essentially more of a legal question here, but do you think, considering just how high profile Harry and Meghan are, that someone can actually be charged for something like this?
I mean, potentially. I mean, listen. They are. This is not. This wasn't a case of the police chasing a criminal. And if any criminal activity was committed by members of the paparazzi, then potentially yes. But that will all come down to what the NYPD will seem as appropriate. There were reports of vehicles that are said to have driven on pavements, jumped red lights, and reversed down a one-way street. Now, if that was the paparazzi, then maybe the NYPD might deem it appropriate to charge the paparazzi. If that was actually on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex side of things, then the Duke and Duchess of Sussex do have a very public defence. They have a defence when it comes to their safety, if and when something like that may or may not happen. maybe the NYPD might speak to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, maybe, saying that there was, as I said earlier, there have been reports that an NYPD vehicle was escorting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex through New York City as well. I assume that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will probably have had their own security there present. So I expect that if any criminality was to be investigated, it may be from the paparazzi perspective, or saying that they may interview the paparazzi, but we will of course monitor future developments.
For sure. Josh Rahm, royal journalist and commentator, thank you so much as always for taking the time to join us here. Anything you want to add about all of this before I let you go?
I mean, I just hope that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, first and foremost, are okay. I hope that I can imagine that Prince Harry might be traumatized by this incident, especially looking at what happens with his mother back in 1997. You know, I just hope that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are okay and are unharmed.
For sure. All right. Thank you again for taking the time here to join us.
Thank you very much, Josh.
All right, everybody, taking a live look here at the stock board. You can see we're having a different day than we had just yesterday. The Dow does remain in the green. Yesterday, we were in the red for most of the day. You can see we're